Yeah, good morning, good afternoon, and good evening from whichever part of the world you come across this video. It's Yeye Princess Ajebo Kome Oloko. I bring us ocean blessings. So I remembered a few years ago, maybe around two years ago, that should be 20, sometime in 2024, I'd done IFA consultation for this lady. Yeah, she was quite young. I think as at that time she was in her, I think 29 or 30 or thereabouts. Yeah. So I'd done IFA consultation for her, and then I'd given her the readings of what IFA had to say about her. So in one of the readings, IFA had said that when it's time for her to choose a spouse, like someone that she wants to get married to, that is, if she's not married, that she's supposed to be married to either a babalawo or an Ifa priest. That is what Ifa specified, right? That she's supposed to get married to either a babalawo or an Ifa priest because she's Iyawo Ifa. That is what Ifa, the one of the readings, right? That she's Iyawo Ifa, so she's supposed to either get married to a babalawo or an Ifa priest. She has to get married to someone that is into Ifa, Isheshi, and all that stuff. So I remember when I told this young lady, I said, this is what Ifa said. Ifa said, as regards to your spouse, it should be either a babalawo or an Ifa priest or someone that is into Ifa, Isheshi, and stuff like that. Why I'm laughing is because of the lady's reaction back. She's like, Iro, no, Iro, I cannot get married to a babalawo, I cannot get married to an Ifa priest. So I was like, why? The way she reacted, I was surprised, the way she reacted. So I was like trying to find out why, and I said, what happened? She said, that she's a graduate, yeah, because the lady is a graduate of, I think, mass communication or something like that. So she's a graduate, she's working, she has a very good job. So how will she now downgrade herself? How will she now lower herself to the level of a babalawo and a fabric? So I looked at her and I realized that, she doesn't know. Yes, that's because she doesn't know that the babalawos or the Ifa priests of those days are no longer the babalawos or the Ifa priests of those days. What am I trying to say? We have a lot of babalawos, a lot of Ifa priests that have upgraded themselves. Yes. In the olden days, before some years ago, this it was a common knowledge, right, that a lot of these babalawos and Ifa priests were, at least majority of them back then, were illiterates. They were not educated, they were not exposed, they were not civilized. So a lot of people still look at them with that same eye. They still look at them from that same perspective, that they are illiterates, they are uneducated, they are not civilized, they're not modernized. But that is not the case. Right now, we live in the jet age, right? We live in the age of evolution. Things evolve, the world is evolving, and so also are the people that are in the world. We are also evolving. Likewise, the babalawos and the Ifa priests. Now we have a lot of educated, when I mean educated, down to master's level or even PhD levels, yes, that are babalawos, that are Ifa priests, that are olorishas, that are iyanifa, that are akpetebi. Yes, we do. Even though they might not bring themselves out on social media and tell you that, I'm a graduate, I'm a master's degree holder, I'm a PhD holder, I have a doctorate. They might not say that, but they are. A lot of priests, whether Olokun priest, Oshun priest, priestess, Babalawo, Ifa priests, are educated. You see, a lot of us that you see us doing what we are doing, like we are practicing African spirituality, a lot of us, we are educated. But because it is the call upon our head, we have no choice than to answer the call upon our head. I, for instance, I used to work. Yes, I used to work before I got to find out that I had a call on my head. I am a graduate and I also have a master's degree, right? But I am an Olorisha. So someone now say, because I am an Olorisha, I am now an illiterate, or I am uncivilized, or I am unmodernized. No. A lot of us, you see, doing this, what we are doing as Orisha priest or priestess, is because we are answering the call on our head. Likewise, some Babalawo, some Ifa priests, it could be that it is the call that is upon their head that made them to sit and be doing what they are doing. Then there are some that in their lineage, right from the days of their forefathers, their great-grandfathers, that is what they are doing. Now, their fathers in their own time decided to send their children to school to be educated. But after the education and everything, you still have to come back and sit with that which is your destiny. You know, when destiny calls, you have to answer, no matter where you are, no matter what you are doing. Yes. Any man that fails to answer destiny will have his or herself to blame, because that person will also fail to fulfill purpose. Why am I making this video? Why am I saying what I'm saying? Since we have a lot of Babalawos, a lot of Ifa priests, a lot of Olorishas, Orisha priests, Orisha priestesses, Akpetebi, Iyanifa, that are educated. A lot of us are educated. We are civilized, we are modernized. Regardless of if we are Babalawos, we are Olorisha, we are Onifa, we are Ifa priests, it doesn't matter. We are educated. We don't have to put our badge on our forehead just to show people, just for people to see that we are educated. So for those people out there that are still looking at Babalawos with the eyes of those days of saying, oh, they are illiterate, they are uneducated, they are uncivilized, please, we have a whole lot of educated, modernized, civilized Babalawos out there. And again, if maybe you feel you're educated, right? You're educated, you're civilized, you're modernized, and then Ifa now says you are Iyawo Ifa, and you have to marry an Ifa priest or a Babalawo, and that is the person that you have to marry. And then you say, no, you cannot marry a Babalawo and Ifa priest simply because you think that person is not educated, they're not civilized, they're not tush, they're not posh like yourself. You know that you can actually decide to tush that Babalawo up if at all you end up with one that is not very tush to your standard. You know, you can actually rub off on that Babalawo or that Ifa priest if you find one and then the love is there. What matters is not about the person being tush or civilized. What matters is the love between the both of you, the understanding, the communication, the commitment. That is what really matters. So yes, we have a lot of educated, civilized, modernized, tush, posh Babalawos, Ifa priests, Olorishas out there. Yes, we have a lot. We still have those that have failed to tush themselves up. I'm not saying that we don't have some Babalawos that are illiterate. We still do, but a lot of Babalawos of this generation are literate. They are educated, they are civilized, they are modernized, they are tush, and they are posh. Till my next video, I remain my humble self, Yeye, Princess Ajebukome Olulokuwamide. I leave also the blessings of the ocean.